Hey, thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, and I hope you're having a great weekend. I do have some updates to share with you in this video, and I hope that you benefit from it. It's taken me a while to kind of put it together so that I can deliver this information in a way that you get to understand it and you can hopefully gain some things. But while talking about updates, I do have a live update to share with you. My second daughter was born. My second child was born Wednesday. All right, so it's a major life update, and of course, I will eventually get to say more about that. But I've been busy. All right, I'm sure for some of you that have kids, you know how busy that can be. But let's get into today's video. And by the way, please don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to share this information. Don't forget to comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe, right? It goes a long way. The first things that I would like to share with you is, let me share my screen with you. And I hope that this is going to come out just right. Give me a second. All right, so let's start with the timeline process for British Airways. For those of you that have been waiting, I know some of you have been waiting for a while, and the timeline currently, all right, has changed, and I hope that you guys get to see that. Now, what I have right here that I'm going to be sharing with you, the current timelines that you're seeing, are the original timelines. But remember, it was said that they would communicate or at least share any changes. And from what you guys already know, a lot of you that have been waiting to hear back, you know that there's no way you would be able to start your interviews technically on the 27th, because that's my guess. That's my guess, right? Again, this is all, remember, these timelines were from the original timelines that they published, and that's what I have here. So the original timelines were for FTE, right? They're supposed to start the in-person assessment the week of the 27th of May, and then that should continue into the month of June, which the 3rd of June as well should be some of the in-person assessments, and then have a week break where the selections will be made for the people advancing to the virtual assessment for FTE. That will last for about 3 weeks, and that will end in first week of July. Okay, that was the original timelines, and that was assuming that you guys will have about a week break, by the way. So somewhere here, which maybe I should have included, that somewhere here would have been where you would have a week, all right, break to prepare or at least plan your flights, plan for those assessment periods, right? Because that would be important to be able to book, take time off, stuff like that. They usually give you that week break. But since we have had this delay in hearing back, okay, for those of you that have done your PE exercise and just waiting to hear back, that has now pushed a lot of things back. And my guess is, again, this timeline will be pushed back by about a week. That's my guess. Understand that tomorrow, this week, 20th of May, is when you guys will start hearing back, okay? And my guess is somewhere around 20th to 24th, you guys will get an email telling you advance to the next stage and go book your appointment or your assessments and pick the dates that works for you. Now, my guess is they may give you guys a week break so that you guys can have a week at least to plan, or they may not, okay? But this, like I said, this timelines were the original ones, and that's why I've left it as it is. That's for FTE. For Skyborn, all right, Skyborn is here, the week starting 20th of May, which was why I'm actually saying that for Skyborn anyway, you guys, there's no way they would book you for a virtual appointment just starting on the 20th. Today is the 19th at the recording of this video. There's no way you guys will be doing virtual assessment starting this coming Monday, the 20th. So my guess is it's either they give you guys a week break, like I've said, for those guys doing on the FTE side, and then start the interviews or virtual assessment on the 27th, and then kind of just push this back into the month of, so something like that. Nope, let me move it forward. All right, maybe somewhere there, all right, is what your Skyborn new timeline would look like, right? So have a week break here, and then start from the 27th, and then into the week of 3rd of June, and then have this break, okay, and then start again on the 24th for the in-person assessment, something like that. All right, remember, these are all just my own, I guess, predictions at this stage, so I don't want you to take my word for it. Remember, once you get your email, book what works for you, but it's good to have an idea of what is going on, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. Now, for the in-person assessment for Skyborn, you go into the month of the week 24th or the 24th of June, and then into the first week in July and the second week in July as well. Okay, that's how the previous timelines have been. So remember, they said it was subject to change. If you guys have seen that timeline process, my guess is if it's going to change, it might push all this information back, or this date back by a week. Okay, then of course BA interviews and in-person assessment is also probably going to be pushed back by a week. All right, so it's not much of a change, but BA assessments are supposed to start the week that's the 3rd, 4th week in July, and then kind of go into the 29th here, and then into August. Okay, and everybody that has made it through this stage should hear back somewhere between the 19th or the 26th of August, so towards the end of August. So that was, again, that was the previous, or at least the current timeline that we know about. Remember, this is all subject to change. Now, one of the important things that I want to share with you guys is, all right, is that when it comes to your assessment, okay, I hope you guys are preparing, because last year, everything that you would have to prepare for will be sent to you during those emails that you would get. So remember, the first thing you would have to deal with for FTE is the in-person assessment. Okay, so for the in-person assessment, what can you expect? Here are some of the things you can expect. You do what they call a group exercise. All right, usually groups of 4, sometimes you might have 3, depending on the number of people applying that day. If somebody calls out, if somebody's sick, situations like that may come up, but generally in groups of 4. I've talked about a lot of group exercises in my videos in the past, so I don't think I would spend too much time on it. Oh, by the way, if you guys are interested in the class program that I kind of made, I'm intentionally made it not free, and that's because it's taken a lot of time to put those things together, and I'm still working on it because, as you know, a lot of things are changing in this space. So it's still being developed. If you're interested, check it out. I think link will be below. For the tests, all right, you should expect the math, physics, numeracy, applied numeracy, verbal reasoning. And like I always let you know, how can you start preparing for these things? I always tell you to use PASS, all right? That is what I have used. That's what I have tried. That's what I've, I can talk about. It's not perfect. Like, there's none of these test programs that are perfect, but at least it gives you an idea of what to expect. You have something to start working with, all right? Now, for this one, as you can see, you have some of those tests there as well, all right? Even more, including some personal interview, group exercise, physics test, math test, logical reasoning, and so forth. I've heard about pilot tests, but to be honest with you, I just cannot recommend something that I haven't personally tried, one, and secondly, something that I can't tell you how updated this is. Like, I can't tell you. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the tests you find them on FTS, on PASS as well, but with PASS, you can see it tells you the date, okay, the last time they updated it. So I would put my money where I believe in, okay, because again, this is something that it's an opportunity to get funded training. So whatever that may cost you to get it going, that's where I'm going to put myself into. That's what I'm going to use, all right? I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying that you would, you would get similar questions, but at least it's something that that somebody's working behind the scenes to make sure that this information helps. So check it out. Now, here, like I said, these are some of the things you can expect. Remember, these are subject to change, and you may have new information, something that is not even covered in any of these videos or in any of the program assessments. So it's always important to over prepare and come in to the assessment and realize that, oh my gosh, I over prepared for this. It's so easy. That's really what I hope that you feel, or at least your experience will be. And a lot of guys that actually used PASS last year, at least the ones that I got some information that they gave me feedback, it seemed like it was actually much more difficult than the actual assessment. And I hope that will be your experience. But remember, it all depends on level of preparation. If you prepare very well, then your experience would be something similar to those guys that prepared very well. So that is for FTE. Moving to Skyborn, for the in-person assessment, you can expect in-person, by the way. Remember, there's still virtual assessment for each of these groups, all right, or the schools. Sorry. Again, this is for last year. So last year, for the assessment day, says the interview, all right? You would have an interview, all right, will be conducted. That will take approximately 40 minutes to complete. During the interview, we're looking to get to know you better and understand more about some of your past experiences. It will be beneficial to research the STAR interview technique ahead of selection. The STAR method is a structured manner of responding to a behavioral-based interview question by discussing the specific situation, task, action, and result of the situation you are describing. This is a competency-based interview, and I've covered all of this in my videos in the past. So I want you guys to, if you don't do anything, just go on Google, search STAR pilot questions, start trying to find your recent experiences. Now, something that I always want to say is this: when it comes to preparing for an interview, you can always do your research, right? You can always think you have all the answers in your head, but when you show up to these interviews, you have a lot of nerves, you have a lot of pressure, you have distractions, you get things that you didn't really prepare for, and your ability to be flexible and adaptable to that situation comes down to how prepared you are. And that's why, again, I have these videos that I create. I always tell you guys, go to the playlist section of BA, play the videos even from last year. You will get some benefits from those videos. Of course, you know that things are changing, so always look at the most recent information, but go back in time, watch those videos. They would help you. Let me continue with this. So, you know, when it comes to your answers, always remember they're looking for experiences that you have had. You would score more points when you use experiences you have had and you are able to deliver on the question. That means the competency that has been tested. I've covered this in so many videos. And again, like I've said, the class that I kind of put together that is still being developed, it is there. And I hope that you guys, you know, if you don't do anything, go back to the playlist, play all the videos from last year, and you get bits of information here and there, and that would help you. Think about the competencies. One of the important things is those pilot competencies. Find good, relevant, recent stories if possible, so that those can be used during your interviews. Now, like I was saying, it is easy to think that you have all the information and you're ready for this interview, but when you show up on that day, and if you haven't practiced well, all the things that you thought you had, honestly, could just you could lose that information. And that's not what I hope that happens to you. And that's not my prayer for you. That's not my hope for you. My hope is that you're able to show up and you deliver, you know, the best version of yourself on that day. Okay. And some of the things that some of the areas we will be asking for examples from are motivation, accountability, resilience, customer, and commercial operation. Now remember, this is from, like I said, last year. So whatever they send to you now, maybe pay more attention to that. But one thing I want you to understand is that these flight schools, right, they do this on a regular basis. Like, remember, just because they're doing this for BA doesn't mean that they don't conduct these interviews for other people, like for their own candidates coming directly doing the integrated or modular route. They do these interviews regularly. So you are dealing with people that are very experienced, they've seen it all, they've heard it all, if you could think about it that way. So let your stories be something very personal. Let your motivation shine. Let your desire, your passion come through. Let your stories be packed with competences, and make sure you deliver well in a well organized, in a methodical manner. And that's why we talk about pass. Okay, star. Sorry. Cool. All right. The next thing that I want to share with you, all right, is that when you are preparing, okay, for Skyborn as well, this is also applicable for the assessment, and this is the same one that says FTE Jerez, but you can see it says at the bottom here as well, used for the BA Speedbird Pilot Academy and Skyborn Island Academy. So the point here is this would help in a lot of ways, and you can see what it includes. All right, you have the CUTE aptitude test or CUTE aptitude test. You have all that there. You have the reasoning test, you have the Aeon applied numeracy and math test, and then you have some questions in physics, English, pilot, group exercise, scenario that you could kind of practice with. Again, remember, this is all about practice. Now, remember, okay, whatever you do, this is all just information. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Make sure you do your own hard work, put in your own hard work. I'm just bringing this information to you in a way that, especially coming from someone that I've experienced this in the past, and someone that I've spent considerable amount of time gathering information. That's what I really do. Okay. I'm bringing this to you in that way, and I hope that this would help you. So if I were you, I would look into pilot competencies. I would focus on my introduction. Okay. We'll focus on my why BA. I'll focus on those pilot competencies. I'll focus on dealing with challenges, conflicts, and most importantly, customer service. To amongst other things, okay, not just those things I've mentioned. There are more that you can always add into this. Professionalism is also part of these things. All right. Now, remember that you still have to do the virtual assessment. So for FTE, pass. For the Skyborn virtual assessment, pass as well helps. But one other area that I want to mention to you is if you go to the FTA website and you go to how you can prepare for the selection process. Actually had it up just now. All right, I won't spend too much time on that, but this is for the BA1. This is for application. All right, here technical skills are important, but it's your behavior as a British Airways pilot that will really set you apart. British Airways is unique, and their pilots are very passionate and enthusiastic about BA purpose and role they have in connecting Britain with the world and the world with Britain. So when you're thinking about your answers, don't forget to include your why BA. All right, why you're passionate about working for BA. And of course, you have some of this here as well. Passion, motivation, which I already mentioned, remaining calm under pressure, strong ability to solve problems, collaborating and demonstrating you're a team player during your group exercises. Just spend some time on this website. This is on Skyborn's website. But also, when you go to Skyborn's website for the assessment, you can expect numerical reasoning. You can expect some verbal reasoning tests. You can expect inductive reasoning. You can expect deductive reasoning and numeracy. All right. Those are the things you can expect for the Skyborn assessment. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to let you know that you should expect some information this week, hopefully. And I want to wish you guys the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next one.